What's your name, bird?
Kehaar, what's it to you?
We were wondering if you wouldn't mind flying up on your magnificent wings and see if you can spot any other warrens where there might be does.
Tell you what, let me have a wee think about it. No, massive ears but no brains whatsoever.
What is going on, guys? MZ2005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the P-Bandai high-grade Gundam TR-6 Kehaar 2 from Advance of Zeta, the Flag of Titans. Now, the atmospheric form of the TR-6, I'm not really too big of a fan of the looks. Don't get me wrong, it looks good in its own right, it looks accurate to the line art. I really like the jet engines on the shoulders and the radome unit over the head. However, the stabilizer fin on the chest just looks plain wrong to me. But then again, that is my cup of tea, that's the problem. This thing does look good objectively. Now, I really wanted to know how this thing handles, and I have to say I'm not really too disappointed with what they've done here. Now, in the chest there is a T-piece that connects the shoulders and the waist to the torso, and that thing is stable as heck. Although yes, it did sacrifice a little bit of articulation from the shoulders, it also provides really great structural integrity. Not even a single piece of the new armor is gonna flop about, so that is pretty good. Now, the basket is also worth a mention because they actually used a plastic piece to connect the basket to the frame instead of using a poly cap like they did in all the other TR-6 variants, which is a pain to handle. Not that this thing is not a pain to handle anyways, but it's relatively easier to handle this basket when compared to all of the other TR-6 variants, so that part is pretty good. Now, the one thing that I had a problem with is the top piece of the head. Now, I don't know if it is due to the connection modifications that I've made during the build, or is it naturally that loose. I don't know, because I did a slanted cut on the peg in the top piece of the head, so it falls off relatively easily. I had to blue tack it on there just to keep it safe until it dismantled it and painted later on. But that is probably on me, so I'm not going to complain about that. So overall, this thing does hold itself up pretty well. Now, in terms of stickers, you get all of the metallic green on the body and also the famous V on the crotch, but you do get some extra stickers over here. Apart from the stickers of the composite shield booster, I didn't use this one because number 2, I didn't find a place for it, so I assumed it's for the forehead camera, which is going to be covered up anyways by the sensor unit on the head, so I never really used it. And of course, you do have the ones for the fins on the chest, which are horrible to deal with, plus the chest fins are already blue anyway, so it doesn't really make too big of a difference. So this thing, apart from being a hard kit to stand up, this thing is pretty good. So articulation wise, this thing is a little bit all over the place due to the armor. So let's shift the radome unit out of the way to display that the head is indeed on a ball joint and a neck joint, so that's pretty good. Basic rotation, basic chicken neck, all that kind of stuff you can achieve. The jet engines over here can shift, they can rotate over here, which causes these fins to move as usual. Yes, because these fins are not the best at all. And the arms can rotate individually from them, so that's pretty good. The arms, they can go out basically perpendicular to the body if you do not have the jet engines shifted. And let me just take them off. They can rotate above the elbow. And they can bend at the elbow at one joint, but they also have the broken joint. And then the wrists are on pegs, but they do have knuckle joints, as usual. The waist, you can achieve nothing with it, and also there's no skirt armor apart from the turtle shell in the back, so that's pretty okay that they can move. There's no unique mechanics in the legs, so all they can do is go forwards, go backwards, go outwards, not really all the way due to the stabilizer fin. They can break, but it's not necessary in the transformation. They can rotate at the hip, a double jointed knee, which is pretty good. And then the feet, these heel spurs can retract. And then the radome unit over here, first of all, the antennas over here, this one can move up and down. And then this one over here can rotate from side to side. And the entire radome unit over here can rotate. And then it has a double hinge over here, so it can move from down here and up there. And then it also has a double hinge over here. So first of all, it can rotate, then it can move from this joint, and it can move on the base joint. So all in all, articulation of the TR-6 Kehaar 2 is not really too hindered, because everything that can get in the way can get out of the way using various joints. So all in all, articulation of the Kehaar 2 is not really too bad. Accessories. So first of all, the included stand and stand adapter, I had to prop this thing up because it could not really stand very well. And then second of all, you do get the Kehaar 2 shields over here. I equipped one with the left shield connector just because I equipped the right one over here. So basically you do the same as you did with the TR-6 Hazel 2. So you just rip the hand off and then slide it on. Now it's going to be a little bit tough just because the jet engines are going to get in the way pretty much. So that hampers a bit of the fun. But eventually you're going to be able to have the shields on the arms. Just like so. And if you do not want it to use the shields, I think this is also a viable option. This is basically for mobile armor mode anyways, but you can actually plug it onto the back without it affecting the look too much. Now I actually like the shields on the jet engines rather than without. I don't know about you, but you can actually put them up there if you do not want to have the Kehaar 2 use it. The reason for that is because of the signature weapon, the composite shield booster right here. Yes, we've all seen this before. It is literally the same composite shield booster we've all seen. And of course, we do get parts to transform it into the chrome mode. I'm not going to be showing this anymore just because it is literally the same mechanic. However, this kit does not come with a wire for you to have it displayed in the chrome mode, unfortunately. And it also does have a green sticker for the scope, and I did mention the blue stickers that I didn't use here. Everything else is just the same. So nothing really too special. You just allow the Kehaar 2 to hold it. And here you have it. The Kehaar 2 wielding the composite shield booster. Now the reason why I want to store one of the shields on top is because you do not get enough room to use the shields and the composite shield booster at the same time. So that's pretty much a bummer, but of course you can have all of the weapons on board. So that's going to be all the accessories for the TR-6 Kehaar 2. Now before I transform this thing, let's give it a few comparisons. So first of all, of course we are going to have the base machine, the Woundwort, right here. So you can see how much the TR-6 line actually evolved from the Woundwort. And let's bring in something crazy, the TR-6 Heisenflay 2 Ra. So that's going to wrap it up for the TR-6 in mobile suit mode. So let's get on to transforming it into mobile armor mode. So now that I have all the parts here prepared, let's get into the transformation. So for the legs, you basically just fold them up and that's it. For the shell, you basically just rotate it towards the front. And then the phallic subarm, you basically all seen before. Hitch it in the nub, in the frame. And that's basically it, the lower body prepared. Now for this thing right here, what you are left with is basically the entire torso unit and the extension frame, the fins of the back skirt, and the arm for the radome unit. So what you want to do here, first of all, it is to split the stabilizer fin in half. Second of all, you want to remove the central unit of the radome unit and then remove the antennas. Then bring in this piece right here. And then you just slide the antennas into it and then fold in the little antenna. And then you bring in the radome unit again and then you plug this gigantic peg in here into the gigantic hole down the center. So just plug that in and you're prepared for that. And then what you want to do is to remove the shields from here. And of course replace the hands with the fists. Now you can actually leave the shield connectors on the arms. The arms do have enough room to transform with those on, so yeah, 2 less parts for you to worry about after the transformation. And then you just rotate the arms backwards. And what I recommend you to do is to flip the shoulder joint up. I'll explain why in a second. And then you basically plug the shields onto the nuclear thermal jet reactors, and you're basically all prepared to combine all of these parts with the core block right here. So what you want to do now is to fit the fins on like so. Make sure the cuff faces out, and then bring in the arms and then plug them on just like you would when you plug it onto the body. But the reason why I recommended to flip the shoulder joint is for this part right here. You flip it in and then make sure the hook hooks around the cylinder over here, and then just basically fold the arms back. Same thing goes to the other side, and here you have it. And the next step, you bring in the stabilizer fins and then just plug them onto these pegs, just like so. Next up, you bring in the jet reactors, plug them onto here, and then bring in the middle piece, plug it onto the middle, and then you just plug everything into the turtle shell right here. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but everything will fit in eventually. And then finally, before I forget, you need to plug on these fins onto the leg units. And then now you will have the TR-6 Kehaar 2 in mobile armor mode. And just plug this stand adapter back onto there so I can prop it up just like so. Here it is on the turntable, and I have to say I do like the looks of this flying discus right here. However, to me this thing looks more like an underwater submersible more than what flies around in the sky. So to me, this thing being the atmospheric version, I really cannot approve of it. But then again, about the design, this thing does look pretty good and pretty unique among the TR-6 line. Now, I know the Universal Century has the Ashimar, so it's not really unique as a whole. However, in the TR-6 line, we had a pod, then we had a warship, and then we have this. So yeah, it is pretty unique among the TR-6 line. Now, there are two things that you can do with this thing. So first of all, as you may have seen in the accessory section, I put on the shields in a different way. Also, you can do it here in the mobile armor mode. Now, I do not know what significance this holds, other than to maybe reveal some more thrusters over here for extra propulsion. But to me, the Kehaar 2 is most known for the aerodynamics, so I feel like this opening kind of disturbs it a little bit, but that's just me. So is it to open up more thrusters or something like that? Let me know in the comments below. Second of all, it is not included in this kit, nor is it listed in the instructions. You have to have either the Heisenblade 2 Ra TR-6 or the Hrududu 2s to actually do this. It's to mount the composite shield booster onto the phalanx subarm. Now, you use this adapter right here for the Hrududu 2s, and you just open up the phalanx subarm and insert the adapter into it. Now, this blue one actually comes from the Heisenblade 2 Ra, so just to clear up some confusion. Now, of course, it is a stand, so the composite shield booster will collide with the strut. However, this is the best that I can get on the stand. Now, you know the phalanx subarm is not to be trusted, so it can easily go out of position. So just readjust it when it does. So this little disc right here does look pretty good and pretty unique among the transformable crowd. So I do like this mode right here. Now, in terms of leftover pieces, first of all, let's take a look at the A2 plate over here. Yes, you do have the original Woundward chest plate and the helmet, and of course the original transforming block. However, the parts that came with this kit do not allow for this thing to fit, because the peg inside of the yellow piece that came in the XC plate is as large as the hole over here. So this is unusable in this kit, but I suppose you can use the helmet. And then next up, it is going to be the A1 and A3 plates, which contain a blue version of the disc on the drum frame. And then next up, we do have the B2 plates over here with the original parts for the drum frame, the parts for the shoulders, I'm assuming, and then the parts for the legs. And I did accidentally cut off this, the original stand adapter for the TR-6 Woundward. And then finally, you do have the B1 and B3 plates with just this tiny little piece over here for the original shoulder connections. So all in all, in this pile of parts, you are only missing the original chest plate in order to purge all of the armor and create an original TR-6 Woundward. Now, you can do some modifications to the yellow vent piece on the chest. However, if it affects the structural integrity massively, I am not really too sure. So go ahead and modify that piece at your own peril. So if you do some modifications, it is possible to purge all of the armor and create a Titan's color version of the TR-6 Woundward. So that's gonna wrap it up for the TR-6 Kehaar 2 review. Now, the one thing that I will say about it is that it doesn't come with a wire. If it did, you can display it with the Chrome mode composite shield booster alongside it, but unfortunately that's on Bandai's part. And personally, I feel like handling this kit is a little bit hard because of all the armor, and especially with the gigantic weapons that collide with the armor, even though they can get out of the way of the joints. And the basket falls off if you grip this kit incorrectly, so that's another thing. It does stay on most of the time, so I'm not complaining about that. So overall, I will give this thing a 6 to 7 out of 10, so it's an absolute recommend for me. I do like everything that is on this kit, apart from the minor trouble that is handling this kit with all the armor on, and the transformation does look pretty good. I like the discus, I like everything about it. I just wish that it is an underwater mobile suit instead of an atmospheric one, but gunplay is freedom, isn't it? So that's gonna wrap it up for me. Tell me in the comments below what you think about this kit, and thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and also subscribe for more gunplay reviews, gunplay news, and all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to the featured channels on my channel page if you haven't, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, guys.